Hi, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 23rd, 2021. Aw, Grandpa Jack. Pawpaw Jack. I love it. I sense a great evolution of Jack's character just over the mountain. Hey, Victor got to become a grandpa a long time ago, and somehow Y&R held out on Jack, so I feel like it's his turn. It's his time to shine. On Monday, I can almost hear him saying, "I'm a grandfather?" Oh, sentimental Jack. It is going to blow his mind. I just hope it doesn't break his heart if it turns out that little Harrison is not Kyle's kid after all once this paternity test happens. But either way, I'm along for the ride. I thought that was a really great Friday cliffhanger. Jack's shocked face. It was very reminiscent of the old days because I can't wait until Monday. I want to hear Kyle tell Jack the whole truth about what's really been going on with Tara and her son, and on top of it all, asking Jack if he wouldn't mind having them move in with him. If he wouldn't mind having these two strangers who he's now being told are his grandson and the mother of his grandson moving into his house as house guests. Oh, you know Jack is going to say yes. He's going to be all over it. Can't you just see them all living together under one roof, the Abbott mansion, Grandpa Jack bouncing little Harrison on his knee, Kyle's out back, manning the grill, while Tara and Summer are sunning side by side at the pool. Just one big happy family this 4th of July. No, this Memorial Day. Yes. The only problem with that scenario, of course, is that there is a Loch Ness monster lurking in the pool water. An Ashland Loch Ness monster. Ashland Locke, what a faker. Can you even believe he faked his change of heart just to lure Tara into lightening her conscience and confessing to him that she did in fact have an affair on him with Kyle, and then the instant that she admitted it, he turned right back into the Loch Ness Master and turned on her. I was believing his change of heart. How dare he? I wanted to believe he was a fresh new man, but no. He was strategic. It was all a ruse. So here's our story. In fear of Ashland, and to protect her son, Tara now has to run to the most obvious place that she can possibly hide. She runs to Kyle. She goes straight to Kyle. I'm sure that Ashland would never have thought to look for her in Genoa City with her former lover. Although I will give Tara some credit. She did put together a diversionary tactic or two, and her in-hiding wardrobe was on point. Black hoodie, black pants, nondescript, black ball cap. She had it together. She had to be stealth because not only is Ashlyn planning to divorce her, but she thinks that he is going to take her son away from her too. And so the only way that she can possibly prevent that is by proving that little Harrison isn't Ashlyn's son at all. Which means that after all of these weeks of hiding Kyle's paternity, Tara now needs Kyle to claim his paternity. And now there is a twist that I can honestly say I did not see coming, but I love it. Kyle embraces his paternity to save his son from the evil, vengeful Ashlyn Locke. Although, who knows? Ash may be the world's greatest father for all we know. I mean, he's certainly the only father that the boy has ever known. And I have to say, just to be fair here, Tara shouldn't get to just cheat on Ashlyn, lie to him for 4 years, giving him all of the responsibility of being the parent, and then when it suits her, or when she gets spooked, she can just be like, nope, not your son, and then cut Ashlyn out. That's not real cool on her part either. Well, at first, Kyle tells Tara that he needs to think about it. Kyle was totally prepared to step away from his paternal rights with his son, or who he is assuming is his son. And not only that, but he's planning this whole new life with Summer. So he doesn't agree to what Tara is requesting of him right away. He wants to talk it over with Summer properly. But before Kyle can even get a word out, all of the stakes are raised when Ashlyn Locke shows up at Kyle's hotel room door, telling him to turn over Tara. He knows that she's been there. He can still smell her perfume on the air. That was creepy. That was really creepy. I can still smell her perfume in here. If I was Kyle, I would be very intimidated. But Kyle does his best job of keeping it short. He deflected all of the accusations that Ashlyn was slinging at him, slinging at Summer even. And then Kyle just quickly showed Ashlyn the door and slammed that door in his face. I was thinking, wow, Kyle has worked up some righteous nerve here. It's kind of nice to see. Ashlyn then goes downstairs and starts threatening Phyllis, telling her that if she doesn't turn over her guest list to him, then he is going to ruin her hotel. He knows that his wife is staying here under an assumed name. He wants Phyllis to give him the complete guest list, and if she doesn't, then he is going to make sure that she loses that business and he becomes the new owner. This guy made the hair on the back of my neck stand up when he was up in Kyle's hotel room, when he was down in the lobby threatening Phyllis. I was just getting abuser red flags all over the place. I hope that that's not true. I don't want to believe that, but it made me feel scared, which validated for me the reasons why Tara is scared. I'm not saying she's right, but I think she's right. I don't know that she's right in the whole situation, but I think she's right to be scared. And I mean, just the idea that she's staying in this hotel room, kind of trapped in there, afraid to even go outside. She's used an assumed name to check in, and her husband is down in the lobby making threats against the owner, just feeling like the walls are closing in as her big scary husband is downstairs. I don't know, that's terrifying to me, and I imagine it is not going to get any less terrifying when this dude finds out that there's more lies he's been told. After Phyllis blocks Ashlyn's threats the first time, he goes to Society for a drink and he pumps into Victoria, he has a drink with Victoria, tells her that he is going to be divorcing Tara in the morning, and then goes back to the hotel to try to book a room. I guess just toying with Phyllis. And then when Phyllis also slams the proverbial door in his face, he just turns on his heels, walks out, and Phyllis has now made him strike out twice at this point. Twice! The next day, Tara has to go out personally to pick up some snacks for Harrison, even though he seemed like he had a very big bag of snacks and he was perfectly fine with them, but perhaps he needed some more snacks. I don't know. I would think that sending the nanny out would have been safer, but Tara and Kyle think that this will be a perfect time for Kyle to have some one-on-one time with Harrison. Kyle has decided that now he needs to claim his paternity. There's no two ways about it. He has to go along with Tara's plan so that his son doesn't lose his mother. And so Kyle and Harrison need to start getting to know each other if any of this is going to work. If this is going to work, there's going to be a court battle, certainly. There's going to be a lot of information coming out. Kyle needs to get to know Harrison because he's going to start asking questions pretty soon. So Tara just leaves Harrison with Kyle to get to know him. Here, kid, I'm just going to leave you alone with this stranger guy in a hotel room, even though your nanny is in the suite next door. I'll be back soon. I thought that was weird. But it was enough to melt Kyle's heart. Being in the room with this little kid for however long it was enough to just turn Kyle into a puddle of sweet candy melted mess on the floor. And it was enough to give Locke a little bit of an opportunity to now find his wife. He must have just been lurking in the hotel lobby because the second that she came down the elevator, he was right there, ready for a fight, waiting for a fight. And once again, strike three. Phyllis sends Ashland out the door just as things start to get heated and loud. But Phyllis also warns Tara privately that she is not going to be her ally for very long. If Tara causes any problems for her daughter, then she's going to be all over it. Mothers have to protect their children, no matter how old they are. My question is, what exactly is Phyllis getting herself into here? I understand what everybody else is up against. What is Phyllis getting herself into? Phyllis just seems to love and to want a fight at any and all times, and she is stepping right into the middle of this very sticky mess, seeming like she's almost ready to just take on Locke all by herself, maybe take on Tara at the same time too. Phyllis is going to be neck deep in all of this drama, fighting to help her daughter and to preserve Summer's engagement to a guy who Phyllis doesn't really even seem to think very highly of these days. Summer's specialist of all nights engagement party was crashed by her fiance's former fling. And Summer had been handling it all so maturely until Sally Spectra snapped her last straw and Summer smacked Sally right across the face. I don't know, I thought Summer was acting like a really big girl and very mature, and she was totally okay with Tara's request to have private talk with Kyle upstairs, but that must have just been all of the maturity that she could muster that day, because as soon as Kyle went upstairs to talk with Tara, Summer bumped into Sally in the lobby, and Sally admitted that she told Tara where she could find Kyle, and then Sally made a snarky comment about once a cheater, always a cheater, and whack! Summer just hauled off and smacked Sally across the face. And, I didn't even enjoy that smack as much as maybe I should have, because I felt like it didn't seem fully warranted. And it just made Summer look kind of childish and weak. Like, that smack didn't really even have anything to do with Sally. I think Summer was just looking to lash out. And frankly, I think Sally should have kicked Summer's butt. Right there in her mommy's hotel lobby. But Sally just took it. I don't know. Sally just took it. What was Sally even doing in that hotel lobby anyway? Was she just there lurking around waiting for the fallout, knowing that there was going to be some fallout? Sally doesn't even live there anymore, and I would be surprised if Phyllis didn't have her banned from the building. I am really glad that Summer has her mom to talk to about what's going on with Kyle, especially after she caught a glimpse of the crisis rapport between Kyle and Tara. He was calming her down and bringing up old memories, and you got a sense of what it looked like privately between them back in the old days. But these are the new days. Kyle is stuck in the middle. When I look at him, I think, this is a poor guy stuck in the middle between his old life and his new life. He has these past indiscretions coming back to haunt him, but he didn't cheat on Summer. This isn't happening and he deserves it because he cheated on Summer. I mean, he did cheat with a married woman, so he probably does technically deserve it, but I don't think it diminishes his love for Summer and the relationship that he currently has with Summer in any way. And I think Summer still very much loves her former party boy. And besides, I think that Kyle was only with Tara in the first place because he was nursing his broken heart over hers. I don't know that Summer necessarily needs to feel threatened by what's going on, but I do understand why she does feel threatened. And I like that Phyllis told Summer that she is entitled to her feelings of hurt or betrayal or whatever she's feeling. And Phyllis was also very quick to tell Summer that she is also entitled to her feelings of anger. Yeah. I mean, what's going on here is no joke. Summer brought Phyllis up to speed on the whole paternity issue that's at the heart of this whole thing. And now, not only is Phyllis deep into it, but now she also has to keep Nick from flying off the handle about it. There's just so much tiny wedge forming between Nick and Phyllis. Last week, he wouldn't tell her what went down with Adam. This week, she didn't want to tell him what went down with Kyle and Tara. And it's fun watching both of them dance around it. I liked seeing Phyllis, not want to tell Nick what she knew. She didn't want to betray Summer, but she also didn't want to be dishonest with Nick. And it was just kind of fun and funny to watch Nick, ever perceptive, having this sneaking suspicion that something wasn't right, for Kyle and Summer to be away from their own engagement party, and yet Phyllis wasn't in a position to say anything. It was entertaining, but I'm also thinking, are Phyllis and Nick headed for the skids here? She did eventually tell him everything that she knew, but there was this very strong sense of, well, Phyllis knows what's going on. Jack knows what's going on. It's almost like a secret club that only Nick wasn't invited to. I do think that Phyllis is right to be concerned about Nick's reaction, though, here, because he is in full-on overprotective dad mode, and I will say, in his defense, I think I would be pretty suspicious and ticked off if the guy that my daughter was getting ready to marry had an ex who crashed the engagement party. I'm sure that I would probably have a not so happy reaction to that too, and I'm not sure that I would be able to easily pull myself back on it. I mean, Phyllis and Jack are definitely taking the, let's try to let the kids handle it first approach. I think I might want to get a little more hands-on, and now that's exactly what Phyllis is doing. Frankly, I do find it a little shocking that Phyllis was ever able to pull herself back from getting all up in it at all. I think the story could just as easily have been Phyllis flying off the handle about all of this and Nick encouraging her to be more zen about it. But again, I think that this story is heading into a direction of Phyllis and Jack developing a bond over what's going on with their kids. Tessa showed up late to Summer and Kyle's engagement party. Oh, isn't that just like Tessa? Always late to the party. So busy all the time. But she did have time to throw on a fabulous black cape for the affair that matched her black hair. Every time I see Tessa now, I think more and more she looks like a black-haired Gwen Stefani. In my mind, I call her Black Gwen. Hey, it's good to see someone taking care of Mariah. Mariah is always scurrying around behind everybody else's problems, and this week she got to have the surprise sex session in the hotel room at the Grand Phoenix Hotel. I laughed a little bit when Mariah was filling Tessa in on, the fact that, the engagement party got crashed. And Mariah said, Kyle and Summer, those two, there's always some kind of drama. She was trying to sweep over the details of what had gone on. And I thought to myself, well, that used to be you two, always in some kind of drama. And now they've just settled into a perfectly comfortable pair. No making drama, no making waves, just copacetic bliss. Oh, but the more copacetic that Mariah and Tessa become, the less believable their story becomes. I think it's very sweet this week that Tessa went out of her way to make Mariah feel beautiful during her pregnancy. It's very easy to just feel icky when you're pregnant, and Tessa was reminding Mariah to not get down about her physical appearance as it continues to change. And although that is very romantic, I feel that I'm wanting some realism here, and it's not very realistic. I think that Mariah has got to be on the cusp of dealing with some very real emotions here. That's what I'm waiting to see. And I think she's going to need a real partner to peel some of that apart with. And at this rate, if all Mariah really has is Abby, and all Abby really has is Mariah, I'm kind of wondering if those two are going to end up together. What would you think about that? Oh! Hands down, best dressed for Kyle and Summer's engagement party, Abby Newman. Now and forever, Abby Newman. Oh, I'm sure that most of you were watching your screens this week, looking at Abby, saying, what? Lavender ostrich feather jacket with denim collar? What could she be thinking? But I was thinking, yes, please. I would like to borrow that jacket just so that I could fly away in it. Okay, I know that ostriches can't fly, but maybe lavender ones can. Imani, yes, or Imani, no? That's our poll question for this week at yrchat.com. Are you guys feeling Imani as much as I am? I have totally turned around on the topic of Imani. I was not into her the first time around, and now there's just something about her delivery that totally intrigues me. And of course, she's beautiful. She has great style. And even though I am still loving Carla mostly as temporary Amanda, I cannot wait to see how Michelle Morgan as Amanda interacts with Imani. I am really glad that Imani has decided to come on board Team Sutton with Amanda, although Imani doesn't necessarily seem to believe in Team Sutton's innocence. Amanda flat out asked Imani if she thinks that Sutton is capable of murder, and Imani says yes. She said anyone is capable of murder. But it was almost like she knew something. And like she was cushioning it there at the very end by saying, well, anyone's capable of murder. But I don't know, I think Imani knows what she's saying. I think she knows what she's doing, and she knows more than she's letting on. And immediately Amanda was like, whoa, you think that Sutton could be capable of murder? You are hired. Yeah. Amanda wants to know more about what's going on with her family here. These people have a messed up, interwoven, interpersonal dynamic, and Amanda wants to untangle it. I am for it. Imani's presence in this story has really upped my interest level in a surprising way. Imani knows something, and just like Amanda, I want to know what that something is. Sharon and Ray back together, happily ever after forever. Ray has moved back into the cottage, and I was moved by their reunion. Ray apologized to Sharon not only for believing what Chelsea had said about Adam and Sharon, but Ray also took ownership of his own insecurity when it comes to Adam. I'll argue that Ray has plenty of reason to feel insecure about Adam, but at the same time, I'll also argue that Sharon has chosen Ray. Time and time again, she has chosen Ray. Sharon has proven to me that she loves her husband, she wants her husband, and she's been faithful to her husband. So I was happy for their happiness. Oh. And I'm happy that Faith is happy about it. Faith was thrilled that Ray is back in the home. Probably for all of Faith's life, she has wanted a stable home. And I think that Ray represents that stability, even though he walked out. But he's sorry about that. And I'm sure it will never happen again. Faith also sees Ray as a good ally for her. She asks Ray if he will talk to her dad about letting Moses come over. Meanwhile, Devon and Moses are talking about the same thing. And one thing that really struck me about that conversation between Devon and Moses was the fact that Moses was talking like he and Faith are in a relationship. I don't know, he just made it sound like there was more going on there than I realized. Hey, I really like New Faith, and I'm practically in love with Moses, but they've only even met like 4 times. I guess things just move a little faster when you're a soap kid. Or wait, maybe flashbacks count as an additional meeting too. Because once again this week, We saw a lot more flashbacks than usual. We had a flashback of Moses and Faith playing chess in the hospital. We had a flashback of one of their conversations at the coffee house. I just think we need to keep an eye on this, chatters. We are seeing way more flashbacks than we used to, although perhaps not as many flashbacks as we did back in the old days. And I just think something's up with it. I see unnecessary flashbacks as a clever budget-saving technique to cut down on filming time. Chloe flies into a rage over Chelsea's institutionalization. She flies over to the penthouse and warns Adam to stay away from Chelsea. Oh, Adam bit his tongue pretty hard. And he let Chloe rip into him for his culpability and what happened with Chelsea. But even at a certain point, Adam had to raise his eyebrows and remind Chloe that he knows Chelsea couldn't have pulled all of this off by herself. She had to have had some help with her crimes. Oh, I do think that Adam feels genuinely guilty and remorseful for any part he may have had in what happened to this woman who at one point was his queen, was the love of his life, was the one who he chose over Sharon once upon a time ago. But now Chelsea is working the system, even though she is in the system, putting on a brilliant show for both Michael and Ray, who have come to visit her, trying to get her formal statement, trying to wrap up this case. But I don't think it's over. I don't think the case is a slam dunk in Chelsea's favor. I really like that we're not seeing Chelsea getting off the hook so easy. She is not guaranteed a get out of jail free card here. She still has to put in the work to prove her temporary insanity. And Ray, with perhaps a little gentle guidance from Sharon, is still suspicious of Chelsea, and I like that. Chelsea requested a visit with Ray, and she apologized for poisoning him. Which I also think was at least partly genuine. But she also says that she really wants Ray to understand where she's coming from. This is just what Adam does to a person. This is what she does. This is what he does. I think that that's the part that Chelsea is playing up. I think she is sorry for what she did with Ray, but I also think she is manipulating because and I also think she is also genuinely unstable. She was saying a lot of this to her therapist too, who's in on Victor's jig. So we know Chelsea is having a legitimate psych break. But we also know that she is manipulating, which is a dangerous combination. I think that Chelsea is working her way toward the most advantageous outcome for herself. But I also think that maybe that outcome might possibly accomplish some new form of revenge against Sharon. Hey, it's Kevin Fisher. I remember him. Do you remember him? Finally, Kevin gets around to asking his wife what's up with her and Chelsea. And, of course, Chloe tells him the whole story right there in public at the Crimson Lights. And what do you know? Ray walks in and crashes the confession party. Oh, I thought that Chloe did a much better job this time, or at least a pretty okay job, of answering Ray's questions without implicating herself. I thought it was Kevin who was in the corner acting really squirrely or chipmunky, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kevin barely had any time to let all of this sink in, and then he's got an investigator and a co-worker right in Chloe's face asking her questions about a very serious crime against a police officer who definitely still wants to arrest someone for the crime that took place against him. I mean, Chelsea managed to wiggle her way past the law so far. She's in a mental institution, and she had Victor's help. But to be fair, Chloe has done the exact same thing. Managed to wiggle her way past the law into a mental institution or mental care with Victor's help. But, I mean, I don't know. The time may have run out. Chelsea may be the lucky one this time, and maybe Chloe won't be so lucky. Chloe also visited Chelsea in the mental institution, and Chelsea vows to Chloe that she would never turn her in. She would never use her as a scapegoat, but I don't think that Chloe is in the clear at all. I think that if anyone finds out that Chelsea is faking, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that if Chelsea's back is against the wall, that she would roll over on Chloe and let Chloe take the fall for the whole thing. I mean, Chloe and Chelsea had this nice little friendship moment on Friday, and Chloe was promising to do her best to go check in on Connor, but I kept thinking, Chloe, Chelsea dragged you into a felony. I can see not wanting to risk alienating Chelsea by telling Chelsea to just, by abandoning her and being done with her, but I sure wouldn't be running any errands for Chelsea again anytime soon. Surprise! Victoria is home early from her business trip, and she's here to interrupt Billy and Lily's sexy game talk. That's what Victoria does best. Interrupts Billy and Lily's sexy time. But Victoria also gave Billy the little tidbit that she saw Ashlyn's plane at the airport, and that was enough to get Billy ready to plan his offensive strategy for when Locke finalizes the deal with Victor and Adam. Billy knows that Victor and Adam are going to use that new media company as a toy to come after him and Chancecom, so Billy sits down with Lily to develop a strategy that will delegitimize Chancecom before they hit the ground running, or that will delegitimize Cyaxares. Sorry, Chancecom, Cyaxares, forget it. I'm saying Newman Media, Newman Media, and Chancecom. It's hard to keep it all straight. But I was glad that Lily was on board with Billy's plan, and I am looking forward to the upcoming war. Billy walked in on, I guess, what was the finalizing of the deal, or maybe the first official board meeting, whichever it was, between Victor and Adam and Ashland on Friday. And I was wondering if any of you guys were absolutely shocked that Ashland was totally okay with how Victor was going to let him die of a heart attack on the floor if he didn't sign the Cyaxares deal. I expected more blowback. Locke was basically like, oh, no hard feelings. I would have done the same thing if I were you. And oh, you want to change the name of the company I built? No problem. I'll just be over here dealing with all of my marital issues. I'm not sure. Is Ashland Locke really the monster that we've been led to believe? Because his reaction was pretty mild to what Victor did to him. I don't know. Maybe Ashland just has to find some allies somewhere. He actually seemed open to having some personal chat with Victor and specifically Adam. He was talking to Adam about wives. Oh... yeah, thinking about it, I'm sure that Ashland is going to have absolutely no problem hopping on board with Victor and Adam's plan to ruin Billy Abbott, because Ashland is on the side going to be working on his own separate plan to ruin Kyle Abbott. So that maybe is a pretty good partnership to have there. I also thought it was a really funny moment when Billy walked in on that meeting and he was hassling Adam about the fact that Adam's daddy bought him a company to try to give him something to do. And Adam snarked back, yeah, says the guy whose mommy bought him a company to give him something to do. I don't know, I never thought of it that way, but I like it. Billy and Lily are definitely not getting their security deposit back. You can count on that. There's going to be some cleanup in that apartment after they leave it. Is it proper protocol for an apartment to let two people set up a picnic inside alone in the empty apartment to test it out to see if they want to live there? I don't know about that. And also, you know that Billy and Lily capped off their little picnic by having sex right there on the bare floor, maybe on the countertop, maybe on both. I find it amusing that Billy also had some good sex with Phyllis in that building, apparently, too. Why did Y&R make that a thing? I'm confused. Billy and Phyllis have been over forever. Lily has absolutely nothing to worry about there, so why are we bringing that up? Did Y&R decide to recycle pieces of that set and they thought that the viewers would notice how similar they are and so they needed to bring it up? I don't think I would have noticed that it was anywhere near similar to where Billy and Phyllis lived. First of all, I was just too happy to understand that there was going to be some people living in a new home. Like, new home, I don't care what it looks like. I would have made no connections. I would have accepted it immediately. I could care less if Billy and Lily were living in a trailer park. I just want someone to live in a home, not a hotel. Also, I think I never would have associated Billy and Phyllis living in that similar of an apartment because Phyllis was being played by Gina Tognoni at the time, and the portrayals between Michelle Stafford and Gina Tognoni are just so different. But I was also looking at Soaps in Depth this past week, and I saw an article where Gina Tognoni had just celebrated her 10-year anniversary with her husband, and there was a few photos that I was looking at, and I was reminded how lovely Gina seems and so genuine, and how Y&R did her so wrong. As much as I love Michelle Stafford in this role, I think Y&R really did her so wrong, and I would love to have her back. Oh, honestly though, I guess I was expecting that maybe Billy and Lily would find a place just down the block from Victoria. That seemed like that would have been the natural transition, so that Victoria could pop by in the morning when Billy's out on the front doorstep picking up his morning newspaper and his slippers and silk robe. That's what I imagined. I was searching, too, for a twinge of jealousy when Billy saw that Victoria was out having a drink with Ashland Locke. And I didn't sense anything but business on his mind, but you never know what the future may hold. Adam and Nick being bros, just broing out on the couch, watching some baseball, drinking some beers like bros do. Okay, so I saved the best for last. This was my favorite scene of the week. It was so amazing, I almost couldn't handle it. Nick stops by the penthouse just to check on Adam to see how he's doing physically, but also to talk about what he's going through emotionally. But then Nick, true to form, was like, "This is too much talking and emotions. Let's watch baseball." Flash to these two former enemies having beer on the couch. I was so excited about this. I actually felt lightheaded. And then Victor walked through the door in the background. He was smiling at seeing his two sons, who he has pitted against each other for years, actually just kicking back on the couch watching TV. I'm not even kidding you. I thought I was gonna faint. I had to look around for any glass objects that I might break when I dropped to the floor. Oh! This is the greatest. This is like the greatest moment of my entire week. Not even just my Y&R week, but my entire week. Adam and Nick as best friends. It was so awkward. It was like the most awkward first date ever. Even Adam was like, this is weird. I watch baseball with my son, not another adult man. And Nick was like, all right, well, we could do something else. What would you be doing if I wasn't here? And Adam said, oh, I don't know. I'd probably be reading a book. And you could see that it completely threw Nick off. Like, the look on his face was, a book? Oh, I read books too. Nick read books too. I like books such as The Three Bears, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I read books too, Christian, all the time. Oh my gosh. But then Nick tried to cover and he was like, yeah, I read books, but that's not a real group activity. This is just too good. It's just too good because it's like Adam and Nick are two totally different guys. Adam is such a loner and Nick is such a bros dude. What do these two have in common? Besides being brothers and brothers who also have been married to Sharon. That's it. But it's so odd couple that I need more of it. But I need it slow release. I need a slow release friendship between Adam and Nick. I need Y&R to just take it easy. I need it to still be really awkward for a while, but I want to know that both Adam and Nick are trying, and I would like for continued comedic results. Trust, love, and believe in what your heart is saying. That was our quote from last week. I just had to pick some parting wisdom from Lola. I just had to do it. I thought to myself, oh, are these her final scenes? I gotta make sure I get one final Who Said It quote from Lola. Trust, love, and believe in what your heart is saying. She was telling this to Ray in a last-ditch effort to get him to save his failing marriage. Heather, Jamie, Deedles, Victoria, Marianne V, Henry, Sheila, good old Marky, Daisy, and Sue W. You guys got that nail on the head. Oh, I like this line. I don't know, I just thought it was cute. How about this? It's not manipulation if I'm a willing participant. I like that. That's a good line. It's not manipulation if I'm a willing participant. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Let's read some of your comments, starting with Zuberplex, who says, Phyllis needs to stay in her lane. Nick is a big boy. If he wants to connect with Adam, that's his business. Phyllis has to remember the lesson that she learned. You should never judge a book by its cover. Yes, I'm so glad you brought this up because, boy, we had two people warning Nick about Adam this week. It was Phyllis. Of course, she went to Adam and warned him not to break Nick's heart. And then Victoria on Friday was also telling Nick to be wary, to not let his guard down when it comes to Adam. It's as if Nick is the virginal freshman girl dating the senior captain of the football team, and everybody has to warn her that this guy only wants sex. He only wants sex. We must warn poor Nick about Adam and his intentions. Yeah. I wasn't surprised at all about what Victoria's opinion of Adam is. Victoria says, cold-hearted Victoria looks very beautiful today, though. The golden highlights in her chestnut hair are just perfect. Wearing her thick hair off to one side frames her face beautifully. If only her golden highlights weren't the only thing which lightened up. Yes, I will say about that scene where Victoria is warning Nick to stay away from Adam, or to not let his guard down around Adam. Victoria looked so beautiful. She was wearing, I almost want to say it was like a gray, very basic tee, but her, well, I'm sure it was a top. It was a blouse. But her hair was just absolutely gorgeous. It was laying right. I didn't realize, but now I realize, Victoria, that you're right. She has some highlights or something in there that lightened up her hair. I did notice, though, that her lip color was almost sort of orangish, maybe a salmon. Her lip color looked so good with her new hair and what she was wearing, and I just thought, Victoria looks so good right now. Victoria also mentions about Victoria, it was nice seeing her supporting Abby. However, I am wondering what's in it for Victoria. She's been so cold, it's hard to believe she's warmed up at all. Well, and we also, not only did we see Victoria chatting with Abby, but we also saw Victoria chatting with Nina. And I thought to myself, well, I wonder if Y&R has gotten the message that Victoria has become too cold and too unrelatable. So maybe they're just throwing little scenes like that in all over the place to try to soften her up. And maybe they also put some highlights in her hair to try to lighten her up. Oh, Ellen says, Nick is becoming an overbearing parent, just like Victor is. Yes, I love this comment because this is the way that Nick is like Victor. It's like we are slicing and dicing all of Victor's qualities and passing them out to his children now. Victoria gets the ruthlessness, Adam gets the schemery, and Adam gets the overbearing parenthood. I love that. That puts Nick and what we're seeing of him now in a new perspective, and I like it. Oh, Kamna says, hands down star of the week was Summer's dress and Summer wearing it. Truly beautiful. That red sparkly halter dress, it was just gorgeous. It was so basic. It was, well, I mean, you know, as basic as blingy can be, but I kept my eye on Summer's dress and on Phyllis's dress that whole time for the engagement party. Both of them just looked stunning. Daisy says, I really like that Phyllis is pulling out all the stops to help her daughter, and even gave Summer some tips to not, in essence, bow down to Ashland. I hope that Phyllis will be victorious in this stance against Ashland's controlling attitude. I only hope Phyllis and Summer don't get caught in the crossfire if Ashland is still going after Kyle and Jabot, though. Oh, we can bet Phyllis and Summer are going to get caught in the crossfire. I think that's what it's there for. Doesn't it feel a little bit like, yes, Phyllis is trying to protect her daughter, and I agree, I love it. But it does seem like she really is sticking her neck out on it. She went from 0 to don't mess with me when it comes to Ashland Locke real quick. I respect that about her. I like that about her. I think it speaks very much to Phyllis's personality. She is not afraid of a fight. Jamie says, Miss Tara is good at being a manipulative baddie. Bursting through the door of Kyle and Summer's suite, all panicky and nearly clutching onto Kyle while dismissing Summer. Just wow. The real kicker was the former flings reminiscing on times not so long ago when they were in the throes of their fling. Damn right it's time to bring in Mama Barracuda. And Gary says, this cold-blooded woman arrived in town telling Kyle, never contact me again. And now she is she's well in need of is a well of need, demanding that he do this, do that, so that she can have the things that she wants. It's all because of my affair with you, says Tara, but did Kyle even know that she was a married woman when he started up with her? The show will rework the character, but for now she's not likable. Yes, I get that there's a kid to consider and all that, but this is my gut reaction to her. Oh, okay, so it's a question of, did Kyle actually know that she was married? I mean, that's a good question, and it's a point that could be filled in. Gary also makes an interesting point that Y&R's focus is interesting in the way that Locke's dramatic home life at this point is never shown, but only narrated by Tara as she gets on her phone and tells all to Kyle. Yes, this is an important point because the truth is we really only have Tara's point of view. We don't really know what Ashlyn's point of view is. And I mean, Tara is our narrator, but is she a reliable narrator? We don't know yet. Diana says, we know that Kyle and Theo were hanging out together all the time in New York, going to clubs and being promiscuous. What if one night Theo ended up at Tara's place after possibly leaving something behind after a night of dinner and drinks while Ashlyn was away on business? What if Theo is actually the father of Harrison? That would be a fun twist, and it would be a great way for Theo to burn Kyle after how Kyle treated Theo before he left town. This would also give opportunity for Theo to return to the show. Yes. I mean, Kyle mentioned that his first step in all of this is to get the paternity test. Will that be a slam dunk? Are we breezing past the paternity test as just a point of story? Or is there any chance that's going to put a stop or be a fork for the story? What are the odds that the paternity test will prove that Kyle is not the father? And I really also like the idea that a twist could be that Theo could be the father. Again, Tara might not be trustworthy. Everything we know is from Tara's point of view. And you're right, Theo too. Oh, here's another interesting twist idea from Daisy, who says, at first glance, it looks like Tara and Ashlyn are really getting a divorce. But I'm wondering if this is part of Ashlyn's plan. A ruse to make Kyle look bad. And in doing so, make Jabot look bad. Ashlyn could have told Tara to go along with his scheme, and he won't take their child. And the scheme is for Tara to get Kyle to announce that he's the biological father, but doctors can be paid to lie, and both Tara and Ashlyn can confirm Ashlyn is the biological father, and both are aghast at what Kyle said. Can Kyle be trusted, or his family's business for that matter? Ashlyn may still be on the revenge train and will do whatever he can to take down Kyle and Jabot and ensure that no one finds out his son may share his biology with another man. This is a very interesting point, too. I mean, we were establishing right now that Tara might not be trustworthy. I mean, maybe Tara and Ashlyn together might not be trustworthy. They could be absolutely working a plan together right this very minute to bring the Abbotts down. This could all be a ruse. And what a twist that would be. Y&R is getting better at their twists. T. Nicole says, so Chelsea's going to try to attack or murder Sharon, right? As Sharon and Ray will be back to being happy together. And then Adam will be the one to save Sharon. And she won't know how to contain her feelings toward Adam for saving her life. Oh, you think Chelsea's going to go that far? I'll tell you what, much as I hate to say it, I could almost see Ray getting killed off. Sharon and Ray are so happy right now. What if Chelsea does attack, and meaning to attack Sharon, and then accidentally attacks Ray and kills him? Oh, but you're right. You're picking up on the fact that we've seen Chelsea do her little evil eye thing when it comes to Sharon. We know Chelsea's target is Sharon. The only question left on the table is, what does Chelsea have planned for Sharon? Sue W. says, the Is She Evil Chelsea storyline is getting more ridiculous and convoluted by the day. She imagines seeing Adam. How are the viewers supposed to follow if she is or is not crazy, is or is not in cahoots with whoever, is or is not faking, or is not damaged by her stroke? I much prefer schemy relationship dramas and cutthroat business conflicts to the borderline horror story plots with villains such as Ian Ward and Sheila Carter, and the brain injury causing and / excusing psychosis, real or pretend, is feeling very overused. I will admit, Sue W., it is hard to follow. I feel like I lost touch with Chelsea a long time ago. I don't really feel like I know exactly where her head is, exactly how much of what she's saying and what she's seeing is true versus what is fake. The best I can tell is it's a little of both, but the line between is certainly blurry. T. Nicole says, it struck me when Kevin said to Chloe that Chelsea can get out of this by claiming insanity, but you have no defense. By Chelsea going along with Victor's plan to admit to poisoning Ray and hiding her recovery, but because she lost her mind, it leaves Chloe out to the wolves. Of course they would be suspicious of Chloe now for how close she was with Chelsea and understanding her role in the crime. Yeah, I think this all very much does portend poorly for Chloe, but at the same time, I also feel like Chloe is not a full-time player on the show, and that makes me wonder if Y&R just sees Chloe as incidental to the story. Like, Chloe was used to keep the viewers guessing, but I don't know if there's going to be any real repercussions for her. It really could go either way. Just depends on what they want to do and how much they want to keep her around or not keep her around. I was shocked that we actually saw Kevin this week. Where's Gloria? Where'd she go? She was around. Where'd she go? Is she around the corner somewhere? We got to get her back. Oh, let's talk about last week's poll. I asked you guys if we should recast Lola. 58% of you said, no, let's retire her. 42% though said yes, recast her. So 58% retire, 42% recast. Southside Granny says, Lola brings a comfort zone to her interactions. And I don't feel like a replacement character would bring that into her storyline. I hate to see Lola go. Well, on the recast, Mark says, why not? But make Lola interesting this time. Make her a bitch. The current one is just wet noodles and has been wet noodling long before Sasha was cast in the movie. She can come back from Miami, a whole new woman, a hell on wheels. Yeah, I wonder if they do bring Lola back, if it could be a fun opportunity to revamp her. I could see Y&R maybe doing that in the future, but I think you're right. I think the fact that she's been wet noodling for a while is an indication that they don't really have plans or any kind of direction for her, so maybe they were fine with how it all panned out. But I also think she was wet noodling maybe to leave space for the actress to do other things. I am sure that Y&R works with their actors and actresses who want to move on. Henry says, I really like the character of Lola, and as the other chatters have commented, I don't think she's been doing much lately on the show. In that regard, I don't think a recast is necessary, but I do hope they leave the window open for her to return. But if her other opportunity is huge as the new Supergirl, I say bravo. I wish her the best, and I hope that I get a chance to see her as Supergirl. That's a good question, Henry. Will you guys go see Supergirl starring Sasha? You know what? I think I will. That's a good idea. I really hadn't thought about it very much. I don't know when that movie will come out. It's not a movie that I would normally go to see, but yeah, you know what? I will go see it. I make that commitment right now to you. I will find a way. Oh, Oh, Sherrod tuned back in to Y&R this week to be disappointed by the Mariah and Tessa scenes. I'm just going to pluck out a few of Sherrod's key points about that. And I got to agree with this, Sherrod. Mariah inviting Abby to join them on their date night, seemingly very sad that she declined, and then telling Tessa not to flaunt their relationship in front of Abby. Give me a break. Oh, I did have that same thought, like, Mariah, you did not just invite Abby along to date night. Not cool. But then Mariah proceeds to lie to Tessa's face about the tarot Locke situation. Not cool. She could have just said that something's going on, can't talk about it. No reason to lie. Who is Tessa going to tell? She has no one. I guess the no secrets between us rule only applies to Tessa. Mariah is such a hypocrite, and Tessa deserves better. Ellen says, I did enjoy the Taraya screen time today. They actually got some dialogue about how much they love each other, and they long to be together when they are apart, and they make a gorgeous couple. Wow, I hope they get a real story and more screen time together, even if it is related to the surrogacy drama. They're kind of stuck in that world for now. I agree. I think that in order for Tessa and Mariah to continue to work, they need to bring Tessa on in a meaningful way. Otherwise, it does just feel like fluff. I think that Y&R really wants to continue to use Mariah. She's Sharon's daughter. I mean, she's Cameron Grimes. She was Cassie. I think they really want to use Mariah, but there's just some reason they're not using Tessa. And it may, for all I know, may very well be because Kate Fairbanks is, I mean, she's a musician. Maybe she's off doing recording or touring, or, I mean, I think acting is maybe a side for her. It seems like she really is into her music, and she probably is very busy doing that. How would you guys feel, seriously, if if Y&R or Kate, for whatever reason, cannot have a full-time commitment on the show? How would you feel about pairing Mariah with someone new? And how would you feel if that someone were Abby? I mean, that would give Chance something interesting and jaw-dropping to come home to, wouldn't it? Gary says, Chats, are you people processing that apparently neither Amanda or Elena has come up pregnant with Devon's child, so he might as well go ahead and head on over to be dad to Mariah's baby with minimal stress. 1 is better than 3. And this time, we were so sure that this was finally the situation where there would be a surprise love children. That there would be surprise love children. Y&R must have gotten hip to the scene and retired this standard of old-fashioned plot from time immemorial. One really isn't supposed to get pregnant today unless you plan to. Soaps in general have become so diminished by the new order of modern life. No waiting for sex, fewer social conventions, etc. And also, this is not a spoiler, but possibly fake news on my phone. It says Summer's pregnant. Am I the only one not warming up to Harrison with the Scotty dog emblem on his prep school label? Yeah, maybe Gary, it'll be all out with Harrison as soon as Summer turns up pregnant with her own cute baby. I haven't heard that. I actually did go and I checked my soap sites, and I didn't see anything about Summer turning up pregnant, but I would not be surprised. This is a very good comment, though, even though I'm reading it poorly. I'm not reading well today, but I like this comment in more than one way. I think you're pointing up a larger trend here. I think this is another way that soap writing has evolved over the 48-year history. Like the viewers still have our old expectations that, oh, Devon slept with 2 women, therefore one or both of them are going to end up pregnant. But sex doesn't always equal babies anymore. Not in reality, and not in soaps either. Y&R sure has been in it for the long haul, though. 48 years. 28 of them I have been watching. Gosh, it just seems so nothing. Y&R's been on for 48, and I've only been watching for 28 years. Only 28 years? It's just nothing. And I've only been Y&R chatting for 13 years? Well, that's right. This upcoming week is the 13-year anniversary of Y&R Chat. I started Y&R Chat May 26, 2008, so that's 13 years of chitty chat, chat, chat. All the videos are on YouTube, so that would be the complete Y&R Chat. I gotta work on getting those videos off of YouTube and backing them up somewhere or something. It's my life's work. I feel like I should have them somewhere on a hard drive or something. It's a lot of content, though. And then the podcast I started 2 years later, so it would be 11 years on the podcast. And recently, the podcast feed got so big that the feed can't handle it. So the older very first episodes of the podcast have started to drop off the feed, and there's nothing I could do about it except maybe set up a separate feed. But I don't know. Ooh, it's a lot. There's just a lot. What do you do once you just have a lot? And that's probably the exact reason why Y&R doesn't release box sets or do a whole lot with their older material. Once there's so much volume with it, it just becomes overwhelming. But overwhelming in a good way. We just keep moving. That's what you do. Y&R, you just keep on moving forward. Y&R Chat, just keep on moving forward. 13 years still feels pretty good to me. I enjoyed it when I started it, and I enjoy it still. I'm a little bit tired today, though. I've spent I have hours and hours painting my porch outside, working my body into positions that I have no business being in at this age. Everything, all my muscles burn and ache, and I passed out so hard last night that I just feel foggy today. I love it. It's like my body was so exhausted that my brain just went splat. Can't even read comments. So sorry, this probably hasn't been my 13-year anniversary chat has probably not been my very best one. I'm certain of that. But my porch looks pristine white. Well, it's like a wood railing, and you got to preserve the wood. You got to keep it painted, or it's just going to rot away. So I scraped it all off, sanded it all off, cleaned it all up, and gave it a fresh coat of bright white paint. You can see it from outer space. My perfect Victor Newman style ranch home. No horses, though. There's no horses running off in the background. Oh, if only there were. Oh, okay. Well, you know what that means. I'm done. I'm ready for a nap, and it's your turn to take over. Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments for the week. Tell me what you are thinking about this new Imani, and let me know how you were feeling about that Adam and Nick bro friendship there. Is there anybody who wasn't loving it? There's got to be some people who didn't love it, but boy, I sure did. I can't wait to see more of that next week. Can't wait to see Jack's reaction next week. The show's been so good. I'm really so happy with where Y&R is right now, and that's such a contrast from where I felt even 2 years ago. I just feel like the show's back on track. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys are too. So go to the website, let me know what you think. Come back next Sunday and I will chat about it with you then. I love you guys. Have a good rest of your day, good rest of your week. Bye.